Welcome back to our Supernatural Life Network. Here's another story from Christy and Paul, and it happened while they were living in Victorville, California in 2016. May you enjoy this story. Finally, my twin soul Michelle, my husband Paul, and I find a place together. A nice 4-bedroom with some acreage, a barn, and a huge great room. It's not fancy, but it's got everything we need. I've never really felt at home anywhere until now. I'm feeling grounded here for some reason. I feel like we are where we're supposed to be. This place truly feels like home for the first time. After just a couple of months after we moved in, Paul gets diagnosed with throat cancer. He's in the battle for his life, taking both radiation and chemo treatments. It's truly the toughest of times. The days have blurred into months. Then a little more than a year passes before we know it, and we get a call from the property manager. The house is going up for sale. How will I break this to Paul right now? All he should be focused on is healing, not moving. I stall and delay as long as I can. The first buyer comes. He makes an offer immediately. They want a 30-day escrow. Dang it. The escrow agent calls a few times and I ignore him. For the sake of this video, we're going to refer to him as Hector Verdugo. His voicemails are growing in urgency. Finally, I can't fight it anymore. Mrs. Jensen, this is Hector Verdugo. Please let me come on Friday. We have 72 hours to get this done. I can't refuse him anymore and agree to let him come reluctantly. Still hoping for some kind of miracle between now and the inspection. This Hector Verdugo guy, he doesn't have a chance with me. But for some reason, I can't find anything, not one thing I dislike about him, yet. Our dog Nugget's all over him. She's always super friendly, but senses my nervousness and is running up to him and doing donuts and running off. I apologize, and Hector is very kind about it and says that he has a golden retriever too, and that he thinks dogs are a gift from God. This gets my attention because usually I'm the one saying this. I asked Hector what I ask almost everyone eventually. What is dog spelled backwards? He laughs and says, G-O-D, God. And as we walk the property, he says, I agree. Dogs are sent here by God to teach us unconditional love. I believe that. He seems like such a nice spiritual fellow. What's not to like? If you haven't watched this network's I've Seen My Dog's Spirit video yet, please do, and you'll understand why this is so meaningful here. Both of these supernatural experiences happened here at this house, along with one other one, which will be the subject of our next episode. Many happened here at the same house. When you see them all, you will fully understand and hopefully appreciate why this house is so special. We love this place. We're done outside, and he asked to inspect the inside now, so I show him in, and Paul's sitting on the couch in the living room. I introduce the two of them, and advise him Paul's currently in treatment, that he would ordinarily get up and greet him. He's very empathetic towards Paul, and proceeds to tell us that his wife is a prayer warrior. I asked him to forgive me, but I've never heard of a prayer warrior. What is that? He says his wife is very connected with the Vatican's group of prayer warriors for God, and they are dedicated, full-time, committed to praying for others. He'll ask her to pray for Paul tonight as soon as he goes home. It's very kind, and we are uplifted by his offer. Then he tells me he used to be a trucker, and I used to be one too, which is an instant bonding moment. What a coincidence. He already had me at the dogs. He instantly bonded with both of us, and we're starting to let our guards down with this guy and realize he's a very decent fellow. I show him the rest of the place and the leaking heater with zero effect. Then he comes back out and starts to leave, but before he goes, he shares the most perfect, amazing, supernatural angel experience. He begins, my daughter Raquel was a cheerleader in Rancho Cucamonga. She just graduated, but is going back to cheer for a special meet they're having the Saturday after graduation. After the event, Raquel gets hit broadside and gets T-boned on Foothill Boulevard. I was at home with the missus, he says, and I'm sitting in my recliner with my socks on, when I get the call. It's Raquel's friend. And I remember I'm struggling to get my slippers on over my socks. And my wife is frantically searching for her prayer beads. And off we go towards the accident. The EMTs are not letting us anywhere near the accident scene. They use the jaws of life to extract her from her car and are airlifting her to the hospital. They tell us to go to the nearest hospital, but on the way, they call us and say she's going to go to another hospital and to meet them there. The whole way there, my wife prays continuously using her beads. Finally, we arrived at the ER and are waiting in the family waiting room. After what seems like an eternity, a doctor comes into the waiting area calling for Mr. and Mrs. Verdugo. I speak up and say, "We are the Verdugos. Do you have any word about Raquel?" He smiles and says, "Yes, hello, I'm Dr. Johnson. Yes, I do. Please, may we speak in private? Let's go into one of these meeting rooms, shall we?" We're so terrified of what he might say. We all go in and sit down. He says, "Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Verdugo. I'm Dr. Johnson, and I'm the physician treating Raquel's injuries. Let me just get to the point. She's been through a lot, but I want you to know she's going to be just fine." Both I and my wife break down into tears, and we are so grateful to him. We hug him so hard. "Thank you. Oh, Lord, thank you. We're so grateful. Thank you, doctor. God bless you. God bless you. Thanks to you, our baby's coming home and going to live out her life. She has her whole life ahead of her now again because of you. She just graduated high school, Doc. Thank you." The doctor's very happy as well and says Raquel is a very lucky girl. "It was a pleasure meeting you both. Good luck." And he leaves us. We go back out to the waiting room, and after a few minutes, 2 physicians come in and ask the receptionist to page us. They have serious looks on their faces. I speak up and say, "I'm Hector," and I ask, "May we see Raquel now?" And they say, "Yes, sir, but we need to speak to you first. Can we step in here, please?" They all go in and sit down in the same room. They're somber. I'm getting a little worried. Something may have gone wrong. "Mr. and Mrs. Verdugo, we would like you to know that your daughter's injuries are very serious, and we had to resuscitate her several times, but amazingly and thankfully, Raquel appears to have come through without sustaining any long-term effects." Hector says, "We know. Isn't that amazing? Thank you all for your help. You all saved our baby. Can we see her now?" The doctors look puzzled and ask, "You know? How do you know?" "Dr. Johnson gave us the good news a few minutes ago." "Who's Dr. Johnson?" they ask. Hector explains, "He was the doctor that was just here and told us that Raquel's going to be fine." And they say, "Dr. Johnson?" Hector says, "Yes, Dr. Johnson, just a few minutes ago, brought us in this very room and gave us the same good news." The team is confused and they apologize. One of them says, "I'm sorry, sir, ma'am, but there must be some mistake. There is no Dr. Johnson. When my wife and I sat right here half an hour ago with an African-American fellow about 6 feet tall and about 35 years old, a very gentle and kind-eyed man. He just told us Raquel's going to be just fine. I'm so grateful you all saved my baby girl. When can we see her, please?" "Mr. Verdugo, you're welcome to see Raquel now, but we're letting you know, sir, that there is no Dr. Johnson, and he certainly did not work on Raquel. We've been with her from the minute she landed. There is no Dr. Johnson in this ER, period." Hector proceeded to tell us that to this day we do not know who that was that told us Raquel is fine. We're assuming it was some kind of angel. Raquel still lives at home, and we watch her just a little closer now. I thank Hector for sharing such a beautiful, amazing, miraculous story with us. It truly is. "Thank you so much," Hector says. "Well, my work is done here for now. It was sure nice meeting you both. And Paul, take care, and I will make sure my wife prays for you this evening." I thanked him profusely and walked him back down the long driveway out to his car at the gate. The long walk back to the house was so peaceful. I had such a good feeling for the first time in months. It's as if all of the weight had been lifted off my shoulders. He banished all that negativity and ill will I had inside. There was definitely a positive shift in my mood. I walked into the house, and there was a shift in Paul, too. After a rough year, we were feeling so low when he arrived. and you would never know it now. From complete despair to such a feeling of well-being. Hector's visit made us feel so good inside, we completely forgot about even having to move. We have this overwhelming feeling that everything's going to be okay now. Suddenly, moving is not the end of the world. I tell Paul, I think that guy's an angel. And Paul says, yes, there is something very nice about that guy. We both tried so hard to find something not to like and couldn't. That's a first. We feel like we just got a visitation from an angel. Not sure exactly who you are, Hector Verdugo. You shifted our energy from deep despair to hope and faith in the less than an hour that you were there, and it lasted for days. Are you an angel, Hector? You will always be one to us. Thank you, Hector. An angel visits to tell us about an angel's visit. Sounds like a miracle to us. What do you all think? Do you believe Hector was an angel paying it forward? Do you think angels are more receptive to prayer warriors? Let us know what you think in the comments below. It turns out that Michelle's wonderful spirit mother, Marie, was a prayer warrior, and they got results. She says she ran small and mighty groups, and it was astonishing how effective they were. Prayer warriors employ the armor of God. The armor is the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes of the preparation of the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, and the helmet of salvation. The word of God and prayer are our offensive weapons, and the sword of the Spirit is the word of God. Rest in peace, Nugget.